I want to go a bit tighter so we can get rid of that dead space on the right, and also so we can throw our background out of focus with a shallower depth of field. So let's punch in.
Focal length adjusting. Focal length locked.
50mm looks just about right. If you shoot with mostly prime lenses like I do, you'll learn your favorite focal lengths really quickly, which will help you develop your style. Now let's bring up our camera controls and load in our current settings. Now we're ready for a test shot. What you're seeing are my actual exposure tests. This first one isn't terrible. You can see a lot of texture in the windows, but the background is pretty dark, and I definitely want more detail on the left where the action is going to take place. Now most people would start dialing up the ISO, but that's usually a last resort for me. I like the smoothness and the latitude of an image captured at a lower ISO, so instead I'm going to slow down the shutter speed so we can see into the shadows. Let's try 1/30th, which will be 2 stops brighter. This is a little too bright, and that's good news because at this speed we'd also have to deal with motion blur. But you can clearly see how much awesome detail there is in the background, and we definitely want to keep some of that. So let's split the difference and increase the shutter to 1/60th. Perfect. Now we have a nice happy medium. One concern is those windows. Even at this exposure, if I drag the histogram slider down, you can see that the windows are clipped and we've lost some important details. Now, of course, each year as technology improves, you've got more and more latitude in your camera sensor. But this is one of the big reasons I find my shot ahead of time and lock off my camera on a tripod. This way I can shoot a bracketed frame at a lower exposure and bring those window details back later if I decide I need them. Now we've got our camera set, but before we light, we need to know where we're going to put Aaron. So where do we place our model? The answer is wherever you want. We're making art, so there's no wrong answer here. Personally, I like to balance my frame, and since the windows are dominating the right half, I'm going to fit her snug